once again, it's on.
How's it going?
Not bad.
Good to know. Good to know, man. Good to know. What do you think about the question?
I haven't done enough introspection to know myself completely, but I can, through pattern recognition, just kind of assume about myself.
What do you assume about yourself?
I like to think that I'm a good person on the right track, but somewhat veiled, I guess.
Well, let's start at the beginning. What would your definition of good and or bad be?
I spread love, and an absence of love is bad. And I don't mean
Huh.
romance, I mean like family. I treat
So,
everyone the way I'd like to
yeah,
be
I'm sorry. Go
treated.
ahead. Okay. Okay. That's solid. So that translates into you treating your neighbor like your brother type of thing.
Yeah. Anybody really, even people that have no love in their hearts, I try to see the light side of them. It's hard sometimes. There's lots of abrasive people out there.
So you said that you're on the journey, which we all are for that matter, but what is that journey to more self-realization look like? You said you don't completely know yourself as of yet. Like what does that look like in your mind's eye? The fact that you don't know all of yourself yet. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'd like to delve into my psyche and have a conversation that I remember with my subconscious. You know, take stock of all my memories and all my experiences and how they affected me and shaped me, if that makes sense.
Right. No,
Like lay
no,
the
that's
foundational. Sorry?
that's what some would call shadow work. When you are going within, taking inventory of your highs, your lows, that's and reflecting upon it and trying to uh, make it better, for lack of a better way of putting it. That's what some would call shadow work. Yeah.
I think I had a dream where I spoke to my subconscious once. It took the
Huh.
form of my first love, and I don't remember a thing about it. I just remember it introducing itself and I being ecstatic, and then that memory ends.
Okay. Well, hang out, man. Let me get a chitty bang bang. Chitty bang bang. You're here.
Thank you.
Where'd you get that name from, man? That's from like a old Dick Van Dyke movie, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Chitty Chitty
love it.
Bang Bang.
Yeah, it's
The
one of the
car.
best um, musicals ever made.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a musical lover myself, believe it or not. So, okay, Chitty Bang Bang. What do you think about the question, man?
Um, I have really, really profound opinions about it. I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but I don't think you're gonna like my answer. And here it is.
Well, wait.
Mm,
Before you answer, have we met?
I don't believe so. No,
So then, why would you think up or down about how I would interpret the answer you're about to give?
based on most people's reaction to.
Man, you are literally not talking to most people. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay, and I'll be short. I'm not like a preacher. Gonna have a long tirade, but when you talk about knowledge of self, usually that means knowing your history, about where you came from, the history of Egypt, and the accomplishments that we've had as African Americans. But but we don't have any right to that knowledge anymore because of the predicament
Of course we do.
we
What you
place.
talking about, brother? You gotta suck the nut deep. Suck it
Julian,
down. Suck it in
Julian,
between.
Julian. Yeah, we don't do that. Go on, Chitty Bang Bang. See, that's who you were. You summoned Julian, Chitty Bang Bang. Go
Yeah,
on, we're listening.
I'm used to that reaction. I haven't even really got halfway through, but
Right. So just go ahead. We're listening.
when we talk about black man as being a king and of Egypt and all the accomplishments in science and astrology, and but we look at the plight of African Americans that we're in today, we don't have any right to claim any type of ancient ancestry and magistrate because we've destroyed ourselves.
Is that it? That's where you landed?
I'll leave it for there because it gets worse.
Well, hang out. I mean, hang out because listen. It's good to have different perspectives on any topic, but especially a topic such as this. So, hang out. Uh, El Moore, the Moore.
Yes, sir. What's going on, fam?
What's up, bro? How's it going, man?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good to know, man. So, let's talk about it, El Moore. Do you have knowledge of self?
Yes, sir. Self-aware, self-conscious, and
Huh.
yes, I'm self-conscious, self-aware. That's my goal. That's what I teach people: self-awareness. To know that we are multi-dimensional beings and color and races and illusions only one race, the human race.
Mm. Mm.
That was made for
So,
separation.
go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Races were made for separation, and we all know separation is an illusion. Cause we all lead the same color, and we all gonna age up out of here if we don't get taken before then. But I
Okay.
understand what he's saying too about the history. But I'm not in no victim mentality. I'm in my mastery. You feel me? So I feel like
Mm.
I'm
In
a
your
multi-dimensional
mastery.
being. I'm a multi-dimensional being with trying to activate the 12 strand DNA. That's the goal for real. It ain't really about nothing else but that.
So more dance with me a little bit, and I'm going to dance to the tune of Chitty Bang Bang for a second.
Hmm.
The quote unquote, and I use these quotes very literally. The quote unquote black man is destroyed today. The quote unquote black man is not a king today. What say you?
I think that all from perspective. I'm a god.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
all the above, you know. But I think according to the system, yeah, the system got like a little hold on the collective as a whole. It ain't even just black people. It's everybody that's trying to do the right thing for humanity a better
oh.
place. You can be white if you're trying to make humanity a better place. They gon' chitty bang bang your ass. So it really don't matter.
Oh, wow. Hey, I see what you did right there. That's crazy. That's crazy what you did there. That's low key bars. I see what you did. Um, but here's the thing. Again, I'm playing the Chitty Bang Bang tune real quick, and he can jump in at any time. But I'm playing the Chitty Bang Bang tune real quick. Nah, nah, dog. You not a god. You a dog. It's backwards. What you mean? Like. I'm quote unquote, and again the quotes are dug into the ground. I'm quote unquote black like you. I'm not no king. Like you not better than me, dog. What say you?
Like I said, it's all about perspective. All about how
Oh, you gonna
one
do that again?
feel about themselves. Like if they feel like they ain't the king, then they don't stand in their full divinity.
Oh
It's all
boy.
about personal perspective and how you can look at life. You can choose
All
to look
right.
at the cup half empty or half full. It's your choice.
Oh, Chitty Bang Bang. Before I move on, would you like to rebuttal? Do
Yeah,
you have
I see
any?
him. I see him piling up on the panel here, so I'm gonna try to see what I have to say very quickly.
Chitty, we got Chitty. Let me tell you this, bro. Chill, do your thing. We got all. I got for infinity. You understand me? Go ahead. Go ahead. Let it loose.
All right, all right. Yeah, the last census that was taken of African American homes, 65% are without fathers. Where are they? Where are the kings?
Mm.
They're not on their throne. As we
Mm.
like to believe, and we talk about we're kings of Egypt and we're the founders of science, but we've fallen from that. We've
Mm.
forgotten our heritage and dropped our crown.
Hey, listen, I can't argue with specific statistics that you're reciting right now, but let me ask you, Chitty Bang Bang, does excellence start, well, I should put it this way, where does excellence start?
I'm not sure what you mean by the question.
So I'll rephrase it, I guess. Where does mastery begin? Where does righteousness begin? That's probably the best way I can put it. Where does that begin?
Well, right now begins with the black woman. She
Oh,
she she's the master. She's
oh,
par excellence at this point because she's holding it down in the home while a great deal of African Americans are either locked up or unalive.
hey, Chitty Bang Bang, man. Okay, I'm gonna let you chill because I'm not trying to lean on you, but you're giving interesting opposition, and so it's worth delving into. But where can I become an African American? Do I become that in Africa or in America? Where can I become one of those?
Yeah, again, it's a good question, but I'm not sure.
I
I
respect it.
I don't understand the question.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can rephrase that, but I respect it. I respect the answer. Let me keep moving. But you hang out, bro. Like again, I got for infinity, man. Even if I transform, I'm still here. I might be omnipresent, but I'm still around. So you hang out. Let me go to my good friend Adept. Adept, you there, bro?
What's goody?
Goody Mob. You already know how we do. Goody Mob up in here.
Yes, sir.
Adept, somebody told me
Mhm.
you do not have knowledge of self. Somebody said you out here and you don't have knowledge of self, Adept. Like, what
Someone,
is that true?
someone said that about me.
Somebody said that. Is that true? I was like, I don't know. That Adept seemed pretty cool to me. He seemed like somebody said he don't have knowledge of self. Is
Who,
that true, Adept?
who said that?
Adept, you already know I'm messing around. Adept? What is knowledge of self?
You about to get me? I'm like, who
Right,
said
like
that? Let me know.
I got you in your bag right now. What is knowledge of self, Adept?
Knowing it's knowing oneself to the
Wow.
fullest extent, from your deficiencies to your weaknesses, your strengths. It's being able to become aware and realizing your blind spots within your own psyche and behavior, your mannerisms. You know, and becoming aware, like how Carl Jung said, making the unconscious conscious, making that which is hidden within your own self and bringing it to the forefront and becoming aware of it, shining the light, so that one, when you're aware of it, it doesn't have that much of a hold on you. But even though you're
Mm.
still aware of something, doesn't mean you've transmuted it or changed it, that it doesn't have a hold on you. You know, that's where you need to learn to master and overcome those flaws, those deficiencies. And
Yeah.
again, that's the whole process of alchemy. And then once you've truly mastered self, from the emotional to the physical and the mental and spiritual planes, you've become an adept. You've mastered the elements.
Mm.
You've mastered all the elements of self. You become an
Mm.
absolute individual, self-actualization.
What? I understand it absolute. I do the math and then regurgitate it back to you. Ramen leaking with the ill truth. Somebody said that one time. I don't know who said that. Let me go to Richard. Richard answered a question in the comments just a second ago. I think I asked, where does mastery begin? And my man Rich said, with self. Is that the case, Rich? Or was somebody typing for you, bro?
Oh no, that was all me, brother.
Oh, okay. So what do you mean it starts with just, what do you mean? Like, I can't teach you uh, about yourself. I can't teach you uh, how to be aware. Like, what do you mean it starts with self? How do you gain this information within yourself? What do you mean? I'm lost on that.
Well, you can. I mean, anybody can teach anybody anything if they're looking for it. If I'm looking for knowledge, I'm gonna find it. So I can find it
Mm,
with you. I can find it with me. I can find it with a grade of sand or itching my ass.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, tell me, how would you define knowledge of self in your estimation, in your trek, in your travel, as some societies might say? How do you define knowledge of self?
knowledge. How do you know? Hmm. It's just what I want to be right now. I focus on the now. I don't. I just
Mm,
know who I am now. Who I was in the past or who I want to be in the future don't even matter. I know who I want to be right now in every instant. I know, like,
mm,
I try to be peaceful. I try to be understanding. I'm not trying to be loud and ghetto and stupid, but
mm.
I can
What
be
you
that.
mean? What you
I
mean?
can be
Rich,
that.
hold up, man. You mean tell me I can't be loud and ghetto and stupid and have knowledge of self? What do you mean?
No, you can.
Why can't I be that? Why
I
can't I
know.
walk around with a what do they call them things that people wear on their heads? I call them chef's caps.
Right.
Bonnet. I can't walk around with a bonnet on my head, talking loud at Walmart. You understand me? I can't and still have knowledge of self. Is that what you're saying?
Shit, if that's who you want to be at that moment, that's
Oh,
who you are.
oh,
Everybody, I know people be like, people acting fake. No, that's who they are. Even if they pretending to
mm,
be somebody else, that's who they are.
mm. But can you have knowledge of self in that particular state? Is that the definition? I'm trying to get to the bottom of this thing called knowledge of self. And if someone can explain to me what exactly it is, are you telling me bonnet wearing, mofo speaking Walmart goers are also self aware? Yeah.
I mean, shoot, if you know, if you were like, it depends on like your emotional state. Like, uh,
Mm,
man, it just has something to do with like mental, physical, emotional, and the who, what, when, why, and where of what you are intellectually, mentally, physically, everything put
mm.
together, an accumulation of everything.
Okay. Z, I'm coming to you. I saw you in the comments. I see you got some answers. I'm coming right to you. But first, let me go to the scholar Mind War.
Hey, how's your day, brother?
Hey man, it's well, dude. Let me just say to you, thank you, bro. Because when you sent something yesterday, I forget what they call it, but I've never received anything like that on a live, so I didn't even know what that was in the moment. But I saw later on that you
Oh,
sent it. I appreciate you, bro.
man, you're the best, brother.
Hey man, we the best. I done told you we ended the live yesterday with we the best. It ain't. Listen, this forum is because there are Jedi's and some Sith here, and we're trying to build a monolithic building for women and men to come and feed the children. Bars. So, with that said, my ward, do you have knowledge of self, and what is knowledge of self if you have it?
Well, I hope maybe I can lay down a little personal knowledge. I was raised by Buddhists, right? My village in Korea still has no internet, right? And so, you know, uh, it's all about the now, right?
Mm,
We're in the now. We're all in the now together. Everything that begins with you ends with you. So if you don't know yourself, if you don't analyze yourself constantly, if you hear yourself say something, you need to do it, because even if no one was listening to you,
You got to be a person of your word. You heard yourself say it, right? These are
That's
these are
crazy.
these are
That's crazy right there. Hold on, man. You going too fast. Oh, bro.
yeah,
So you telling me if I say something, I'm held accountable spiritually, intellectually, regardless to whether you heard it or not.
correct. And so I take it to the next level. If I got some kind of a personal goal, I'll be sitting around by myself and I'll say that shit out loud because then I heard myself say it. And then
That's
that
gangster.
and then that shit happens every time because I'm a man of my fucking word.
Mm,
Right?
mm.
So then you see all these people on social media that have what's called a feminized mind, right? A real man ain't never going to go back and forth with you. They're never going to start
Oh,
saying something that they wouldn't say to your face. So a feminized
oh.
mind is an easily manipulated mind, right? And then that's what we're dealing with here on social media. People are ignoring knowledge, ignoring experience. And we're letting our minds be taken over. And when a person drifts into this severe mind control comes with righteousness. When people start living by a controlled narrative, they become righteous. You can see it in the Trump supporters, the flat earthers, all these people, right? So then,
Mm.
like, me being a male, right? I'm supposed to be, well, hopefully have like provider and protector in my system, right? So then, I would like to think that all men, right when they started noticing something's up, they looked around at all this that's going on social media, right? Like, oh, I'm a multidimensional being. I've been awakened. Oh, it's like, okay, well, let's go to a flat Earth page right now. Guess what? They've all been starting to say they're awakened, and a part of an awakening, they're raising their frequencies and they're multi-dimensional beings. Go to the people seeing lizard people. They're saying the same thing. Oh, we're having an awakening. Well, I'm a multi-dimensional being. At what point does logic and common sense tell you, hey, if these people are actually a part of a real awakening, wouldn't these guys start realizing they've been played and Earth's not really flat? Wouldn't these guys over
Mm.
here be realizing that they're really not seeing people morph into lizards right in front of them? At what point do we look around as adults here on social media and realize our
Oh.
minds are being severely fucked with?
Mm. Bars. This bro be. The next time you start talking, I'm going to make a beat. Do you understand me? Bars. Z, are you there? Zeal. Zeal Cristal.
Sorry, I dropped my makeup fan.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Adept does that all the time.
Well, it kind of sucks. I'm sorry that you do that too.
You got me fucked up.
That's my dude, man. That's my dude. Z. What do you think, Z? You were saying some interesting things in the comment section. What do you think? First of all, do you have knowledge of self? And then if you do, what's that?
What I am. That's all.
Ooh,
It
ooh.
is to figure out who everything that you are is to dissolve in everything you are not. You know, the detachments, like the more you try to detach, the more of your main attachments come withering in, you know? So like I've been doing this my whole life, which is weird. I'm 40 years old, but my
Oh.
first like I was 2 years old with my first message, and by the time I was 6 in 1991, it was always writing. So that's how I figured it out. Like the consciousness of God or whoever is talking to me is, it's just I am. You need to dissolve in that beauty of whatever I am is. Whatever, if it's ugly, good, pretty, whatever it is, you need to be that and embody it. Like I have faced all my demons, like that, all of that. Like I've accepted this. This is who I am, and you're not going to tell me any different.
So you out here spitting bars too? Like we just got like battle rappers up here tonight. Okay, respect.
Right.
Mac,
I
hang
got
out.
you,
Z,
bro.
hang out. We're gonna open it up. What's up, Mac?
I got you. Is it me, Macaco?
Macaco. Yes,
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 Macaco. It means furious monkey in Portuguese. Hello, everybody, and like always, thank you for having me in your panel.
yes, sir. Thanks for being here, man. So Mac, somebody told me you don't have knowledge of self. What are you doing here? They said he don't have knowledge of self. He don't even know what it is
I don't have knowledge.
of self. That's what somebody told me right before you came in. They said that dude Mac, he don't got knowledge of self.
I don't.
Watch
And
him.
who are them to say that I don't have knowledge of myself?
Oh.
Hmm. I was
Oh.
about to share
Shoot.
something here with you about knowledge of self, but I guess I'm being
We're
judged from the
listening.
moment. So be careful
Well,
of the
well, no.
snakes that
Someone,
are go
someone,
inside.
someone just said that to me. I mean, I was like, well, I don't know. I got
Why
to
you
let him
want
in.
to
I got to
start
find out
this
what he
shit?
says.
Richard,
Yeah, you
perhaps
know.
Richard. I can give Richard the floor and he can tell you. I've
Oh
been
my
studying
god.
dreams and self-conscious too, so I'm not
Oh,
trying
Good.
to.
well, go on, man. I'm pulling your leg, man. Go on. What do you think about the topic? We're listening.
I just think that the road to self-conscious is based on the person and how they see the world. Okay, so for example, now, I hate to say this, but now it's a trend. Okay, people saying that they're awakened or they're putting videos up and stuff like that. I get it. We're in
Mm.
an electronic era though, where we have to share everything. But how about the ones that are quiet? How about the ones that have things happening to them at the moment that they're actually awakening themselves and they don't have nothing to share at the moment because they don't feel that that's what their inner self, which another controversy I have, which their inner self says, no, you're not going to share this, buddy. Not now. It's not the time. So I believe that when you go to sleep, that is the real you. That is who you are. That is your full. You're not judged. You get the no faces, and I feel that when you get to that level where you can control anger, you can control fear. You can control all those emotions that override our nervous system and make us do or make decisions that later we regret about it. I think that that's where we have reached, if not the beginning of enlightenment and higher learning. But that's my opinion.
Okay, no, I can smoke a bag of that. At least a half a bag. That's some strong stuff you got there. But yeah, yeah. 2, 3, 1, go. 2, 3, 1, go.
Yeah, I had to unmute myself, so I was gonna go quick, but no. Look. That you guys are all making very interesting points. I come from a different a different perspective. I don't want to say that you guys are wrong in what you're saying. I believe that what you guys believe is what you believe is correct. I'll open with this and let's see if it even sparks anything. But I feel like that I was feeling this in my spirit. So this is 1 Corinthians 2:9. Okay. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. Now, I'm not a poet whatsoever. I'm just reading from the Bible, and I believe that Jesus Christ is the one true and only way for us to see eternal life. Now, there are a lot of fakes, fake religions, fake messiahs, fake angels of light. If you read the Bible, it says that. But I don't want to disparage anybody that's listening to this and say, oh, he's one of those, it's not necessarily about that. It's about like understanding. It's understanding when you read the books, and when you read the Bible, it really speaks to you from another realm. Um, and I'll land my plane there. I know it's controversial, and I hope that I didn't.
No, you're all good. Listen, I think, to be honest with you, I think what you just said is probably more prevalent than a lot of other ideas, right? But I would just ask you this about knowledge of self. Can I attain knowledge of self through Jesus Christ? Is that a thing?
Well, so yes, you can. Is the short answer. And really, what your prompt is like is about self, and what Jesus teaches is about giving up of yourself, meaning sacrificing yourself, which is exactly what he did for all of us. So when you pick up your cross, which means like picking up your cross basically means like that you're going to fight every will that is telling you, hey, go have that drink out at that bar with this girl. Go and lie to this person. Go out and everything that's negative in life. Oh, because we're all born sinners. You might not believe that, and I understand that. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but like the message of the cross is that you pick it up and you walk with it in truth. There's a reason that the cross is made into a letter T, because it's the truth. So when you pick up the truth, all the falseness goes away. That's bars too, by the way.
How you, hey, you gotta let somebody else call bars for you though. Like, I mean, but
I'm a white person. I don't know how that works.
That's hilarious.
Threes.
He's calling his own. Yo, hey, look, I ain't even mad at that. That's rather hip hopish actually, just be braggadocio on your own bars. But let me go. I want to balance what you're saying with maybe what Z was speaking about in the comments. Z, can you tell me, can you attain, in your estimation, knowledge yourself through Jesus Christ?
Only if you look at Jesus as yourself. So I like to read a lot of text because I was questioning my higher self or my consciousness when I was getting answers as a kid. So look at the Christ as you, and you're making, like he said, he's correct. You make that sacrifice. It's making a sacrifice to kill off your ego, and then you're reborn into light, and you can't look at Jesus as this is a figure. It's like, this is myself. This is me. So only if you look within, because anything outside of you, you cannot get an answer to who you are.
All right, I dig that. But for some reason, and 231 Go can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's equating Jesus Christ to himself. So I see what you did there, right? Like Christ consciousness type of thing, because the depth even talks about that. But I don't think that he's saying that he's like Jesus Christ.
It's because that, I don't know if anybody knows that story is stolen from Inanna. It's stolen from the Sumerian tablets in the Middle East.
Wait, from who? Who?
Inanna, the goddess Inanna of love and war.
Oh,
She
who's that?
descended into the underworld, and she had died, and she came back to life in 3 days.
Wait a minute.
Easter, Ishtar.
Inanna. I know who Inanna is. Inanna is one of the fallen.
So that's where that story came from.
One of the ones that rebelled against God Almighty.
No, these are false narratives, propagandic narratives to take away the spiritual profundity of.
That's the reason I
know the history of the Bible and how the church plagiarized so many things and twisted the narrative to capitalize on this literalized version to try to take away the power of the spiritual truth embedded with other ancient myths, because it's a mythology that's encoding spiritual truths and realities of self, of the nature of the soul and its journey, the hero's journey, and all that stuff. Initiation rituals took place all throughout the world where certain individuals would undergo a 3-day ritual of resurrection, spiritual resurrection, because they didn't literally die. They would go into a cave or a type of chamber for 3-day retreat with priests or priestesses to then have a near-death experience, go into the other world, as Jesus even does once he's there, and then in the cave, where does he go into? Like a limbo state, like a purgatory state?
No, he went to the underworld.
Or underworld, okay.
Well, he went to both. He went to the underworld and he went to paradise. So paradise is where the saints were being held in the spiritual realm. And when Jesus died on the cross, before he resurrected on the 3rd day, that's why it took him 3 days. It's not like he was snoozing around for 3 days.
This was a plagiarism.
He was actually doing work. He went to the nether world.
Exactly,
And
and this is what many initiates throughout history have done all over the world, from Egypt to Crete to Greece to
no,
Persia
no, no,
to
no, no,
um,
no, no,
the natives.
no,
Yes, yes, this
no,
is a
no, no,
known
no,
fact.
no,
You
no, no.
cannot tell me
That's
this
not.
is historical fact. This is historical
Well,
fact.
well,
Do your
where
Guys,
research.
does it
guys,
say that?
guys, guys, guys.
I'm not trying
To
to
say no
say
because he wants
that.
to say no, I'm like, this isn't
Well,
belief. I'm not talking about
I'm just
belief.
saying there's only one historical book that says that one person went to the netherworld. If you can give
Oh,
me
one,
another
only one
person
person.
that went to the
How?
netherworld,
So I'm just
I'm
making
cool
this
with
up.
it, I guess. There's no, you can't name a person.
You can't name a person. Plato,
You
the
can't
early
name
church
another person
fathers,
that went,
the early church
that
fathers.
One at a
I
time,
looked it
guys. One
up.
at a
I
time.
checked
Like
and it's
231. Hold on one second.
all
So
right.
this is great. So you and Adept both have different perspectives, and so it'll be great if we could hear you both. So like if he's speaking, you don't, and vice versa, right? So go ahead, 231. You speak for a little bit, and then let Adept get in there and rebut what you're saying.
Well, I just want to retort to Adette where she was saying, you know, that we are Christ and that Christ is us. That's the whole New Age thinking of you know, crystals,
False.
chakras, and and combining Islam with Muslim and Christianity, and we are all one, and
That's
we're all in
that
the
is not
universe.
what the
And
Christ consciousness or Esther Christ
hold
is.
on. The host gave me the opportunity to say it. Not, and I'll land my plane pretty quick. I promise. Okay. And I'm not trying to be controversial again, but I know that this is a controversial topic. But I'm still want to be bold about this. Um, so basically, she was saying Christ consciousness, and Christ consciousness is whether you want to believe it or not, and I'm not trying to tell you to believe it or not. What I'm saying is that most people that believe in Christ consciousness haven't even opened up one page of the Bible. Like I'll almost guarantee, because I used to be the same way. Like I was all into this, all chakras, crystals, you know, all the things that kind of like the universe, the constellations. I mean, name it. I mean, all this confusion, so much confusion. When all I had to look back was at the cross, and you know what the cross represents? Truth. Why? Because the truth starts with a T, and the cross is a T. Now, that's just symbolic, but like at the same time, like it's just one. It's one. It's not many different things. And I don't want to. I don't want to go off too into ranting. I'll let you
No, you're
guys.
good. You're good. Yeah, let it land there, but hang out. So Adept, what say you?
Well, first off, that's never what the cross as a T meant. I mean, if we go back to, I don't know, that's a whole nother topic. But again, because this is all esoteric literature, the scripture, any sacred text has always been esoteric. But any religious system, religion itself has always been twofold, exoteric and esoteric. Every tradition is always like that. That's how it functions. The exoteric, the literalized version, is what's given to the masses. That's what they learn in their mosques, their church, and or their temples that they have. Then the esoteric was the deeper, more mystical, more true spiritual side of these texts that were only understood and taught to those who were initiated into that knowledge, because it's not a matter of belief and just faith, it's a matter of knowing, of gnosis, because the Bible in itself is a Gnostic and Kabbalistic text, and that's going to be a very controversial thing. But now, because those are the individuals who wrote these things in the first place, and they veiled certain mythos, narratives, based off of literal, like actual um, places and kind of timelines. It's blended. Think like a movie. When a movie is inspired by true events, but it's not literally the event in itself. There's fake characters, and the areas, the kind of theme of it is kind of true, but it's It's a blend of mythos. Think like oh, here's a good example, like Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons and stuff. It's not like very literal, but it is based off of some true narratives. But the thing is,
Yeah, and are you landing your plane there? I
I'm
feel it
no,
landing.
I'm so the Christ concept. The Christ concept, okay. The Christos, which is taken from the Egyptian Christos, the
Hmm.
KRST,
Hmm.
which deals with the anointing process with within the resurrection, the symbolic resurrection ritual of the mummification process. Because when the mummification process was symbolic of death and resurrection. And and then they used the anointing oil, the krastas, for the mummy, and then this term got what's the word, was then turned into the Greek Christos, which means what, anointed, the anointed one, and and this was attributed to the Christ figure, because again, the Christos is symbolic of the same, again, the Christos is symbolic of the same principle that Horus in Egypt represented, which is that divine state of consciousness that one embodies, that you merge and become the great I am. You become sovereign and absolute within your own being, and you become one with the divine. This is something that was taken and plagiarized and twisted by the establishment, by the church, and that's why they eradicated all the Gnostics, to suppress that narrative, that deeper knowing, because they wanted to monopolize on it and brainwash the masses over time. Majority of Christianity during the ancient times was pushed onto the illiterate, the unintelligent masses back in the day, ancient days, during those times. And that's how they gained the power, the following, because these people were more gullible, where the intelligentsia knew that wasn't true, but those were the ones that were eradicated.
May I interrupt,
Well,
sir?
adept Gnostic means knowledge, right?
Well, so Gnostic derives from gnosis. Gnosis means knowledge, but it's direct experiential knowledge. It's non-discursive. It's not something to think about or theorize. It's an inner knowing. So a Gnostic is one who knows. I myself am
Okay.
I myself am a Gnostic. I am of the Hermetic tradition. This is our
Indeed.
brother.
I'll come to you, Chitty Bang Bang. Let me go to Richard first because I think Richard had something. Go ahead, Rich.
Oh shoot, man. Okay.
You didn't forget. Come on, man.
Nah, I just had plenty to say. Okay, I just don't
Get
want to
it.
argue with Christians. I'm not even going to go there. I could have, but I'm not. But wouldn't it make more sense for God to be inside of everybody or everything instead of one book? It don't
Mm.
make no sense. Like, you could be on a deserted island, and how you going to go to hell because you don't know Jesus? That don't make zero sense. I would assume if God made a creature, it would be in his image, and God would be inside of that person.
Mm.
It
What
Let
wouldn't
me
say
make
you
answer
about
no
that.
that
sense.
231? Because
Yeah,
that is a good point. 231.
it
What if
is. It is a
someone,
good
we
point.
know that indigenous people are born
Hmm.
without the help of books and research, et cetera, and they live their whole lives on particular. You can talk about the Amazon. There's villages in the Amazon. They don't even come in contact with the rest of humanity. So are they doomed because they haven't had the Bible? Talk about that, 231.
Right. So in the Bible it states, and I can't reference it exactly because I'm just going off of memory right now, and it's a big book, and I just don't want to go through it, and I don't want to lose my train of thought. But in the Bible it says that there is a specific age of not consciousness, but like where you reach an age where like you understand wrong from right, and at that age that's when you can be judged. Now that age is in specific in the Bible. It doesn't say like at 8 years old, at 10 years old, at 12 years old. It just depends on your particular spirit at what age you become mature enough to understand where, okay, now you understand, I've given you the opportunity, and now you have, now you can live your life freely in the world, and you can understand and make the choices right from wrong. Now, obviously a baby can't do that, right? So like a baby is definitely not going to be condemned to hell. Now, an indigenous tribe that's never heard the word of God, that's a little bit more difficult because it doesn't say anything in the Bible about that. But
Sure
what
it
you can
does.
assume from the go ahead. Go ahead.
If you do not believe in Jesus, you will go to hell, period. That is the
Well,
whole thing about it.
you only come to heaven through Jesus. That's correct. Yes. Now it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible, and but I don't want to be a heretic. I don't that you will go to hell if you don't come through Jesus. I just know that you won't
Host,
go to heaven.
host.
That's what I know. That's what
This
I believe.
Go ahead,
this is
Chitty
a
Chitty.
sermon panel. This is a sermon panel, and it's not very conducive to a full panel where everyone has a chance to express themselves.
Yeah, because I haven't had a chance to say nothing. So
Okay, I'll
I've been
stop
sitting
talking.
here
I can let
listening and just listening and waiting. So
I'll
go.
relinquish my time. I'll relinquish my time. Sorry, everybody.
You all good? 231. Let me let Reese in the conversation. We will. It will get opened up. Shitty bang. Don't even worry though. Reese, what are your thoughts, man? Do you have knowledge yourself, bro? And what is it if
um
you have it?
so I'm gonna be honest with you. Am I a Christian? Yes, I would like to think so. This is my thing though. A lot of people, all right, so this is what I had to figure out. It says in the Genesis that God blew his breath into man and man became a living soul. So that means that the spirit of God, once you wake up to the fact that Jesus Christ did down on the cross for your sins, or got unalized for your sins, then you assume to realize that God is inside of you and also outside of you as well. Another thing, because in the strong concordance, breath means spirit. But I'm gonna also say that everybody is psychologically stuck in a box. And when they get from out of that box, then they'll start to realize that they're psychologically stuck inside of another box. People are always in the state of progression, or going in the opposite direction, right? When they're on this planet, because life is about choices and you have to live with the decisions you make. No matter how much knowledge you obtain, you're actually learning about the same exact thing, but in a different way. And this is what I mean by like different boxes. So the whole point of it all is so you can connect with God and grow as a person spiritually and also psychologically. So that's all I have to say. So we're
Okay,
all arguing about the same thing. It's crazy.
hang out, Reese. Hang out, man. Good take. Lee, Leah,
Me? Yeah.
Lee.
Hi, it's Lay.
What up, Lay?
Hi.
So, Lay, do you have knowledge yourself?
I do.
What do you mean? What do you do? What is that?
Knowledge of yourself, as in like you're connected within. So I don't know. It could just be me, but I feel like religion, like Christianity, Islam, all that stuff, right? It's all has the underlying message, and the underlying message is to just connect with God, right? Don't do no harm, just live in the image of God and do as He tells you to do, and all that stuff, right? But then where I draw the line, or I guess where I get confused, is people who I guess say, okay, yeah, I follow the like Christianity or Islam and whatnot. They tend to like lose the sense of self, right? So they'll just think like, oh, I'm just here, like I'm nobody. I'm just here for God. And I mean, yeah, you are, but you're also here to live, correct? So a lot of people, they'll sit there and they don't have like a sense of self. They just have a sense of God. And I feel like I tell them
Mm.
all the time, you wouldn't have a sense of self if you didn't have you connect with God because there's a piece of like God lives, a little bit of God lives in you. That's why you can even connect to him, you
Mm.
know. Yeah, that's why you can even connect to him and like understand. And everybody, I tell people all the time, God just not just talk through like a Bible or a Quran. He talks to you every single day. Whether you tune into that is, you know, your choice, and whether you're at that point or not. But I just feel like people tend to forget the sense of self because you come from God. You understand? Your God is the biggest picture. God controls everything. God makes up everything that the universe is. Of course, it's only one God at the end of the day, but you're here to find your way back to God, because when you come here, you are faced with, you know, the challenges of life basically. And some people, they get lost in themselves because they let that challenges of life win, where it's like there's no challenge on earth that's bigger than God at the end of the day, you know. But you still have to tune in with yourself so you can truly tune in with God, if that makes sense.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. But I'm gonna go to Tierra really quick because I want to open it up to the entire panel. But I got a question for you. I'm going to come back to you, Lay, so you hang out because I got a specific question for you about that whole God thing you were speaking about. Tierra, you there? Is that Tierra?
Yeah.
Tierra, what's wrong with your cross, man? You got a funny looking cross in your name. Is that's not the cross I know of? What is that? What was that
Oh
little
no,
loop
it's
on
a
the top?
ankh.
What's that all about? A what?
It's a ankh.
Well, an ankh, Gesundheit. What are you talking about? What is an ankh?
It's an Egyptian protection.
Hell yeah,
Oh,
Unc.
Yeah.
Like an eternal.
That's from yeah, see the person next to me has it too.
He
Um
does. Adept does have the broken cross. I got to speak to him about that. What's that all about?
I got you.
so I wouldn't like, I don't know if this is the perfect explanation for it, but essentially it's describing so the top of it, like, you know, the little circle at the top, and then it kind of
Yeah.
goes out a little
Is that
bit.
the feminine?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
that just came to
feminine,
me. I'm a
or the
savant.
womb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's depicting.
And
Because
the
I've
bottom
seen
of that,
people.
what is that bottom thing? What is that projectile? What is that that prick, as somebody would call it? What's that all about at the bottom?
Oh yeah, that's the male.
Oh.
So they kind of look
Oh,
in
okay.
unison.
Okay. So like Richard just said, it's like fertility. It's like
Yeah.
nataru. Oh, okay. Okay. So Tierra, do you have knowledge of self?
Yes, I do.
No. Somebody, I don't believe it. What makes you think you have knowledge of self, Tierra?
um. Well, I talk to myself every day. Um, I give myself ideas. Um, I give myself, I guess, I would call them downloads.
Mm.
Like, I'll hear different conversations that aren't ones that I create, like, consciously. So I guess that would also be me talking to myself. I specifically dream a lot. So, and I'll
That's
have
my topic.
different
Mm.
scenarios where I will, like, you ever heard of remote viewing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Continue.
like I'll be essentially, I can view myself in a dream from third person.
Okay, I'm digging it. Listen, the panel is open at this point, you guys. Like, I have a ton
Can
of
I ask a
questions, but
question? Yeah, I do too.
sure, get it.
Excuse me and thank you. Thank you. To what is the name? Sierra? Is
It's
this
It's
here.
Tier?
Tiara
Tierra. I
with
don't
with a
wanna
broken
I
cross.
don't
She's got to get her
okay, I
cross
don't
together.
wanna
Go ahead.
yeah. Real quick about the dreams. I've been studying dreams for the last 2 years and I got a question. You said you could see yourself in third person. Can you control yourself in this state? Because I've never, ever, since I've dreamed, I've never seen myself. So that could be
Yeah.
either your soul or my soul that's different, but I feel that I don't know. I've just
Yeah.
It's
So
just like people didn't believe in Jesus. I just don't believe that you can see yourself in third person. But
yeah, cause
then
I've
again, that's an opinion. That's an opinion.
yeah, you're good. But yeah, like I'll dream in third person, but then I'll also remote view. So like I'll recognize that I'm not in my own body, and that'll be that. But then like the third person, I've had a dream where I've seen myself outside of my body, and I've also felt myself move bodies. So my consciousness move bodies in front of myself. If that makes sense.
Well, at least for me, that I'm studying dream state and consciousness and subconsciousness and all that. Um, I, I respectfully would like to, I don't know, just would like to know a little bit more because if you have these examples, I have somebody ask me, "Hey, what does this dream mean?" And I give them what I thought. Okay, I'm no interpreter. I'm not certified. I don't have a degree or anything. I'm just doing this since this is about self knowledge and self. I'm a PTSD veteran from combat that hasn't had a therapist for 7 months and going on 8. So I had to treat myself. In order to treat myself and control my anger, I had to find myself. In order to find myself, I had to go and dig deep in my rage, in my trauma, and all the other stuff that has gotten me to here. And the thing that has guided me the most, and the thing that has made me feel the dopest when I wake up in the morning is when I go to sleep. Because there I am not judged. And there nobody has a
Interesting.
face, but I have people that that feeling, I love you, you're cool, man, you're dope. And I'm going to tell you, I don't call them nightmares, I call them disruptions. I had a disruption recently and something amazing happened. I actually stopped the disruption. And for many people that's, oh, so you woke up when you had your little nightmare. No, I literally controlled the shadows. The shadows are the fears that you have. They don't have a face, it's just these shadows. When this shadow went to attack me, I stopped it and then I woke up. Um,
Hmm.
you will
Let me
have no faces. Yeah, you will have just real quick. When you go to sleep tonight, I do it all the time. Please, it's not because I read it in a book or anything. I just did it based on what I've seen and read. Go to sleep and imagine the dopest version of yourself and take that person with you. And you have two options. You could be the co pilot or you could be the pilot. I'm going to tell you one thing. I'd rather be the co pilot than the pilot. So every night when I lay down from this meat sack, this piece of crap body, and I go to sleep, I am the dopest in the universe. You have to understand that that is what you have to figure out in order to figure out yourself. It has taken away my rage. I have controlled my anger based on this. I have actually my relationship has bloomed to amazing heights. Okay, this is a PTSD combat veteran saying this, and I want to thank you because I have to go. I want to thank you for this. If anybody has any questions, please come to me, Richard. Nice to see you again, buddy. Richard, I like his knowledge, so I respect you, man. Thank you so much for having me in your panel with my left
Thanks for
foot.
coming
I
through,
say
Mac.
thank you so much. Okay, guys.
What
Bye
branch,
bye,
if I
guys.
may ask? What
Say
branch, if I may?
again?
What branch?
Oh, U.S. Army active. 19 Delta,
Oh,
reconnaissance scout. Yep.
hey,
3 tours, buddy.
I was 11 Charlie.
Okay. Oh, infantry, huh? All right.
Uh huh.
Thanks for coming through, Mac.
All right. Thank you
Hey,
so much, man. Thank
Chitty
you.
Bang, man. Chitty Bang Bang. You there, bro? I see you, teacups. You there, bro? Chitty Bang
Yes,
Bang.
sir. Yes, sir.
So, listen, man, and for everyone, the conversation is open, but, Chitty, you got anything you want to add at this moment about what we're talking about?
Yeah, sure. You've been a good host. You run a really good panel, a really good live, I'd say. But I feel like the panel is somewhat surface level. The prompt suggests an African American type of perception of who we are as African Americans. It comes, that term, knowledge of self, comes from the Nation of Gods and Earth in the 120 lessons. What Marcus Garvey taught, Noble Drew Ali, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. That's where that phrase comes from. So when I see this prompt, or when anyone sees the prompt, it reminds us of African American history. And let me say something about African American history. Black History Month compared to 10 years ago, think about it. Is it different or is it the same? Is it more nonchalant now, today? I remember the local television station here in my small town used to play 24 hours of Martin Luther King's speeches during African American History Month. That no longer happens. It has faded away. It does not have the breadth and heaviness of history that it used to have. And let me say this about history, about knowing ourselves. Talking about Juneteenth, do you know how we got Juneteenth one day in the House of Representatives? The Republicans had the majority, but they needed a couple votes from the Democratic caucus in order to pass legislation. So the Democratic caucus say, okay, we're going to use our leverage to push the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Republicans said, hell no. Hell no. So they said, okay, you're not going to give us that. We'll take the George Floyd police reform bill. They said, hell to the no. That's what Republicans said. Hell to the no. We'll just let the bill die unalive. So as a third strike, they came up with the Juneteenth celebration. Republicans said, no problem.
Okay. Chitty, let me ask you this. This kind of, and Rich, you can come in right next if you like, but
All
let
right.
me ask you this. Can I attain this concept that we're speaking about today called knowledge of self? And you know, this may itch someone's brain, or it may not. But Chitty, you tell me, can I attain knowledge of self if I'm black or African American? Can I have knowledge of self if I'm one of those things?
Indeed, for sure. Knowledge of self is it has a religious connotation and the origin. It's talking about, the brother was mentioning the Bible. The Bible says that the kingdom of God is within us, and that's where the knowledge is, in learning about ourselves, learning who we are in this world and the connection that we have to the universe, understanding the sciences and the absolute universal laws that govern this universe, and how it is that we can use this power in order to evolve ourselves to more righteous people.
Hold on, right there. I dig it. Land it right there. Let me dance with you for a second, and everyone can jump in. It's not. This is not a monologue thing. Anyone can jump in, but let me just dance with you on this. So, what you just said in the past 15 seconds, I'm smoking 10 bags of that, right? But that has nothing to do, Chitty, with a crayon color. We both know if we have knowledge, not even knowledge itself, if you just got some knowledge, black and white for that matter, is a construct. It's a social construct. Folk weren't quote unquote black 500 years ago, or white for that matter, right? And so when you talk about knowledge of self, number one, you're coming out of this, somebody said it, meat container. Yeah, you know that this is a present condition, but you would also know that you've always been and you shall always be. So how can you define thine self through a meat container with a color code? That's number one. Number two, if somebody can point to me where African American continent is, I would love to go there. The continent of African American, where is that? Anyone?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. So how do I describe thine self with knowledge if I'm spitting ignorance? Get it?
Okay, I'm not sure where you're coming from, but we're talking about the term knowledge of self. It was celebrated and brought out again in from the Marcus Garveyites.
Oh no, I'm fully aware. No, listen, the 5%ers. I'm with you. I'm with you on all of that. Like
But I'm going
I'm
back
dead
further,
with you
brother.
on. Sure, sure.
Going
Okay, go
back
ahead.
way further to the original slogan where it appeared. It appeared at over the door of the Alexandria Library. It says,
Oh,
"Know
now we
thy
cooking.
right, know
Okay, thank you. I'm glad
thyself,
he said that.
know
Yeah,
thyself." And this surpasses color. Know
yeah.
thyself, meaning that when
Yeah,
you
because
enter
they
the
weren't
light,
calling themselves black. Yeah, I'm just dancing with you, Chitty. I'm not trying to
because
cut you off. I'm just dancing with you. You know that at the schools of Alexandria, in a place called Kemet, better known now as Egypt, they weren't calling themselves black. We know that, right?
because that was nothing but black, so you there was no need to differentiate ourselves from other people because there were no other people at that time. There was just black,
Okay.
and
During
so
I mean, I'll even
Alexandria?
smoke a bag of that. We're
During
going to depth.
Alexandria? No, I'm asking
so
during Alexandrian times? Because that's false. I mean, if you want to
during
go back to like Kemet when during the founding
So
of
can I
it,
say something right
but
quick?
the Alexandria that was founded during the Greek time, the Hellenistic era. That's when the Greeks were the ones that founded Alexandria, hence named after Alexander the Great. You know, and it was ran by the Ptolemies.
I concede that point. I
So
concede
can I
that
say
point.
something right
Go
quick?
ahead, Reese. Go ahead, Reese. Let
All
Reese
right.
get in there. Go ahead, Reese.
So this is a big problem that I am finding. People are always associating themselves to the matrix. Knowledge itself is an individual system that you can create to connect with the one that
Oh,
actually created you.
oh.
A collective knowledge can go so abroad, meaning that you can say me as far as my ethnicity of people, or you can say what type of species I am of people, or you can
Oh.
turn around and you can associate it with just a certain group of people in general. The fact is that each route you decide to go is still part of the matrix until you get to more of an individualism, right, way of thinking to figure out the conscious essence of life on the reason why you are actually here.
You
And
spitting bars.
so
You spitting bars, Reese. Go ahead.
yeah, and this is why I always say, yeah, to associate yourself with something to help fix yourself, to help you relate or get more acquainted to God, fine. Yeah, I'm with that because I go under Christianity. But all at the end of the day, it was still a reason why Jesus had got unalived by by the religious church, Caiaphas and the Pharisees. It's because all at the end of the day, Jesus was trying to actually connect you to the one that created the whole entire matrix we actually live in, this world, this universe, right? As far as Pharisees, they wanted the status, they wanted the power, and yes, they would use God, right? But they would use it in such a way where they can actually gain control over the masses of the people, just like religion
Reese, let me
can
dance
use.
with you real quick, and then I want to go
Yes,
to Tierra. Let me dance with you real quick on this one.
yes.
For a verse. Can I, right? I'm asking you, can I attain an authentic knowledge of self through you, Reese? Is that possible? Like, can you give me knowledge of self, Reese?
I want to see where you're getting with this,
Reese,
because the
I'm right
answer,
at you. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, that all right. Okay, so I'm going to take what you just asked me, and I'm going to basically equate that to why I use religion, right? Can
Mm,
I use something which somebody else have gave to me, right, to
mm.
get a more deeper knowledge of self? Of course, because humans been here longer than me. I'm just an individual human, right? But it doesn't mean that I cannot learn from something else. I can learn from a tree. I can learn from God's creation, right? It talks about that in the book of Proverbs when the guy was not, he called himself illiterate and dumb, but he said that he was still smart. He was still smart enough to learn from God's creation. So can I learn
Mm.
from somebody else and get
No,
knowledge of self?
I'm
Yes.
digging. No, you didn't know that. Listen, so let me be more specific because what you said is actually not wrong. Let me be more specific. Do I go to you for salvation?
Now that's a different story. If I ask somebody else, hey, how did you get to salvation? Then I can take some of the things that they've done, but can they individually give me salvation? No. Because again, it all leads back to your personal relationship with the creator. Because all at the end of the day, when you leave this planet, you can't take nobody with you.
Okay.
The
Okay.
church
All
can't
right.
save you. And this is why Jesus, again, this is why he was crucified.
Mm. But okay, yeah, I'm gonna let it land right there because somebody else may have a question for you. But I want to let Nameless in so that we don't keep him or her in the dark. Nameless, you there?
Yes, sir.
You was down in the comment section talking spicy. What you got? You were down there talking spicy. You were like, I'm about to come up there and shut it all down. What you got? We listening?
So, I would like to say this: no man can teach another man. He can only stand as a light unto himself. Yet it
Oh,
requires the world to teach him. So, what I
that
would
sounds
say
paradoxical.
is,
Go deeper.
okay. So, what I would say is that knowledge of self is knowing that there is no creator but you. If there
Mm.
were to be a creator and there was to be continuity between its creator and creation, then the creation must be equivalent to it. Fundamentally, it's has the same nature. So
Wait,
technically,
slow down. I'm slow, bro. Everybody else in here is geniuses. I'm slow. Say that part one more time. That last little 10 seconds.
so if there were to be a creator and the creator had any type of continuity, or there's a continuum, a spectrum between it and its creation, meaning that it can communicate with it, then that would imply that they're equivalent in nature, which means that any type of creation is just a novel permutation of its own quintessential essence. So the
And you're saying that's not the case?
that is the case. I'm saying that to
Oh,
know thyself would be to know that there is no creator that created you. That would be a logical fallacy. It'd be impossible because it could not create itself if it existed eternally. So think of it this way: Christians, Muslims, whoever, right? They say God is omnipresent. That means it's everywhere. So if it's everywhere, where is it not? Right? You can't find a place that it's not because it's everywhere. Okay, so that means that it is everything, and thus we do not exist. Right? We may exist as novel, fractalizations of the creator itself, but that means we are the creator essentially. So technically there is no creation. There's just the essence itself.
this
You're
is.
saying the all is one. The all is one.
So
Because as they say in religion, as they say again, like you said, God is omnipresent. If God is the absolute, God is the all, the totality of existence. There is nothing beyond it. It cannot be separated or taken from, because then it would no longer be absolute or omnipresent. So therefore, that's why all the ancients always said God is both transcendent and immanent. It is a continuum. And even in scriptures, are we not created in the image and likeness of divinity? Because again, I would say to be a bit more specific, saying that we are it or we're equal to it, it's equal in nature, different in degree. Where divinity is
Mm,
the infinite, we are a finite fractalization of it. Are we not creators
mm,
ourselves? Can we not create or bring things into creation? We have the same capacity, the same qualities and attributes, but different in degree.
right, exactly. And so this is what I was saying even at
bars.
this is what I was saying even at the beginning. You have multiple ways of saying something. You have multiple ways of how you can connect to the matrix. But what it really depends down to, what it all depends on is how do you connect with the one that actually created this whole entire universe? Let me ask you a question. There are 8 billion different people on the planet, right? Everybody are born on certain parts of the world, right? Depending on where they're born at, right, they will learn in such a way, right, where it might be different than a person that might be born in a different part of the world. This person might know something of religion, this person might know something of science, right? You have different routes to lead to certain sources, right, that created everything. Understanding is key. Where human beings separate themselves from is through understanding. And that's the problem. This is why I always say, soon as you go an individualistic route, who can tell you that you are really wrong? Because this is what you actually experience, and this is what you have actually been exposed to.
Hey, so
Hmm.
I'm glad I finally got to hear you speak, Reese. I waited for a long time, so I know you waited.
That's
But
hilarious.
everybody on the panel, I've been listening to you all.
So
Everyone's
funny, I
dead.
forgot to laugh.
Everyone's dead on, right? So, in psychological warfare training over in Korea, if teaching Christianity or Buddhism or converting people into Muslims would have made people be able to avoid mind control for the longest, that's what we would have been doing in psychological warfare training. So we didn't. I will say Christians were some of the hardest to train against psychological warfare because most Christians have a character flaw. They think faith was given to them by God, and so then Muslims are easier to train against psychological warfare because they believe that they're born with faith. And so then people that think like Adept and Nameless and Richard, they're the easiest to train against psychological warfare because you got to think about it like this. I think we can all agree that there's an energy that connects everything, right? At the bare minimum, God is the universe, right? There's a fingerprint, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, right? So, but here's the reality. Here's reality. When people come at you in psychological warfare, they want to go at your core beliefs. They want to go at your faith, whatever it is, right? So then if you're going to be a real mind warrior, then it's up to you to see the difference between good faith and bad faith, good energy and bad energy, right? So that like when a Christian starts speaking a certain way, it's not up to us to go, you've been brainwashed by that book, because that person may be exhibiting good faith. Maybe their mind has not been taken over by satanic mind control. So then it gets tricky, right? We're in a mind war right now. We are in the now. We're in a mind war, right? We can't change anybody's religion in the middle of a mind war. Their faith is already under attack by these mind control
Mm.
experts every single day. You don't add to it. You do not attack somebody's good faith in the middle of a mind war. And we are in a mind war, right? So then the reason you're seeing so many Christians and all these psychological operations like the flat earth and the fifth dimension and the great awakening is because Christians are among the easiest to brainwash in the society. And these
Mm.
mind control experts know that. They prey on Christians. Every single Satanist I've ever deprogrammed went right back to being a very devout Christian. And so
Wow.
I'm an expert in satanic mind control, right? I'm trained to identify satanic mind control. I can tell you for a 100% fact that satanic mind control is trying to enter your brain every single time you open your eyes to this application, right? So then that would be my words to anybody. Don't if somebody like 321 or Chitty Bang starts speaking about a book of religion, let them speak their piece. Don't attack their religion. They're already the way they are. Their whole family's probably like that, right? You can't attack this person's whole family beliefs as long as they haven't been brainwashed already. But then if I think we can all agree that if somebody's mind is already being taken over by satanic mind control, that they no longer have good faith, right? And so then we start looking around. You start looking around, and you see, you go find one of these pages with 100,000 flat earthers. They're all saying they astral projected yesterday and
Not
saw that the earth was
100,000.
flat, right? And so they're astral projecting and saying the earth's flat. The lizard people are astral projecting and speaking to the leaders of the lizard people. So 99.9% of people right now that are telling you that they're getting downloads and astral projectings, minds are already being taken over by satanic mind control.
Yeah, Mind War. Nameless had something. Nameless, you wanted to jump
Yo,
in?
you know what?
And again,
Before
guys,
Nameless
we
say
can. Yeah,
something,
go ahead,
before
Reese.
Nameless say something, I just want to say this to Mind War. Bro, I'm sorry that I doubted you before I even gave you a chance, bro. Like, he's got
Oh
a lot
no,
of
he's
bullshit.
bars, bro. Mind War is
Bro. I didn't
bars.
know he was
Oh
that
yeah,
fucking
no.
good, bro. All right,
Oh
go
yeah, no.
ahead.
Welcome to the Terror Dome, Reese.
Oh, and just to add
Reese,
to that,
welcome to the Terror Dome, bro.
Mark Passio speaks on that. Mark Passio is a former high priest within the Church of Satan. He speaks on a lot of that stuff, the satanic brainwashing and agenda and stuff at the higher levels. He's come out to speak on it and expose it. In many ways, he breaks down Christianity and the whole plagiarism of it, and then the Satanism, what it truly is. You know, not literally worshiping no damn Satan figure and stuff like that. How and that majority of the satanic agenda, the way they want people to behave, like how people, what's the, damn it, hold on, how do you say it? Basically, in simple terms, because I can't remember all the details, is that majority of society is operating in a satanic mentality. If you just look at people, look at the people here on TikTok. Look at most of the behaviors of those that are not on like a more spiritually evolved, manner. Like how he says, even the other spiritual people or communities, the so-called chosen ones and awakened ones, everything's so egotistic, narcissistic. People are very sadistic in so many ways, even beyond outside the spiritual community, or even religious people at that, and or non-religious. It's like majority of society that we see is operating in the way the satanic, these high level Satanists, so called, want them to
Adept,
function on. Hmm.
Adept, you're dead on point. I want to ask Reese something. I'm going to come to Nameless next. But Adept, do me a favor, man. Stop using that white stuff on the show. Like, that coke cana. Stop that.
Wait,
Um,
what? Are you talking
yeah.
about my sniffles?
Is that what you're doing? Oh, okay, my bad. That's
Oh
what you're
no,
doing. Okay.
I'm a little. I got a
I
little
thought you
sick.
had a line in front of you. I
I
didn't
got
know what you were
stuffing. That's
doing.
not
Okay. Okay. Cool.
that's crazy. That's the oldness. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Wow.
Maybe I don't know.
Nameless, I'm coming right to you. And Lay and Tierra, if you guys got something, of course, Rich, chime in. But so Reese, man, I just wanted to say this before I go to Nameless. Reese, like when I listen to you speak, bro, it's paradoxical to me because you've got bags to smoke, but then you kind of revert back to needing to go through something to be seemingly what you already are. That's the best way I can put it, without being, disrespectful in any way. Like it's like you have the information, Reese. Reese, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, so it's more of me being gang stalked, becoming a targeted individual, me being cut out of being able to provide for myself, just being expelled from out of society because I might have a difference of a belief. And then it was a
Look at
couple.
here. I'm with you. I'm dancing with you. I know. Listen, look at here, man. Take it from me. The trek is not easy, bro. First of all, let's put it this way. You didn't know you were coming to this existence. So like don't covet it. Like you didn't even know you were coming here. So like use the journey for elevation. And it can get lonely. Yeah. But that may just be a part of your trek and what makes you stronger. Right? But I'm totally hearing you with knowledge, and then I'm hearing a shield put up from the knowledge that you just spit. I'm like, well, how's he both? That's paradoxical. It's interesting. And again,
Bro,
it's
it's
all
because
respect due. Go ahead.
I'm a f- I'm all right. So it was a couple of years back where I went through a near unalive experience, and then after that, just back to back, just no matter how good I was becoming a better person, it was just like sometimes life don't shake your way, and I think maybe that might have to do with because I might know some things that a lot of people never really got a chance to experience and come
Sure.
back from. So
Listen,
yeah,
I
I
get
had
it. Listen, I've had a near death myself, man. So I appreciate your testimony, and mine is
definitely.
similar. Like I was out, and I came back like real rap in the hospital, the ER, the whole thing. So I'm
Yeah.
understanding where you're coming from. I'm just saying to you that I literally hear the knowledge, the ancient knowledge, and then I hear the remix at the same time. So just meditate on that. Do the shadow work on that because
Yeah,
you
don't get
already
me
have
wrong,
the
man.
answer.
But I did the shadow work. Like I know about law of correspondence. I know that through all of these different religious sectors, you can find laws of the universe that are secretly hidden inside of these
Mm.
religions.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I know what it really is, bro. It's
Okay.
I don't know,
That's what's
man.
up.
Growing
Look,
up
we'll
inside
leave
of
it at that. We'll leave it at that because again, I don't have no conversion ritual for you. I don't have any. I don't need you to pay me tithes or nothing. You know what I'm talking about? I just hear what I
right, right.
hear, and I'm like, yo, the young brother is on the path. It's just that like he's using a skateboard instead of a electric scooter or something. Anyway, yo, just hang out.
Basically in so many words. Let me tell you the
Yeah.
reason why though, right quick, right?
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
thing. This is the reason why. This is the reason why. You're at a family and you see that your niece have a cup of tea. You walk up on her, there is no tea inside of the teacup that she give to you. Do you throw the tea back at her and say, there's no more tea in here, you silly goose? Or do you drink it and act like there's tea in there and then say, hey, maybe we can have some next time? Basically, you deal
You
with people according to the
throw
level of understanding.
that poisonous tea away and you give her water.
No, I mean you deal with people according to the level of understanding. In the
That's true
Matrix, it says
too.
that in the Matrix it says that everybody mind is not to be freed after a certain age.
These
Some
are
people
listen.
are
These are
stuck in that.
facts. I'm feeling you. I come from that family, bro. I am the proverbial black sheep. I am the one that stuck out. I am the stone that the builders refused, right? I am that. I get it. I'm from that. I'm from that Christian home, as a matter of fact, if I must be so candid, right? And I took another path. They still love me. And maybe they've even, gained some information. They're still in that space. I'm not here to deliver them from it because I'm not their Muhammad or Jesus or Buddha.
Right, yours will
Again, the
love you,
question
mine
is,
will. Yours will love you, mine will unalive me. That's the difference.
okay, no, I'm here. Listen, I'm here in the depth. I'm here in the depth, bro. But just know this: I hear the truth that you speak. That not that I gave to you. That I hear you speaking to me. So, let me go to Nameless. Nameless, you had something, man. What's good?
Yeah, so something that I've noticed in my journey is that a lot of Orthodox practitioners tend to think that there's a need for a mediator, right? And then my question would be, who were the first, or who was the first creature to ever attain knowledge of self, and how did they acquire it?
That's interesting. Well, I would say the
I'm sure
first
there.
you say creature. Well, Adept, I'll let you handle it. And again, Lay and Tierra, ladies, please listen. You're in here for a reason. We got the divine masculine and the divine feminine, so it's not about shutting y'all down. Whenever you got something, we're open panel right now. But and Adept, you chime in. But when you talk about the first creature, listen, let's go beyond the creature. The consciousness is where it's at. The
Well,
consciousness is
yes. But the reason why I say that is because creature is the terminology that they utilize in Kabbalistic texts. They say that
ah,
all of creation is a creature, right? And they say that all of creation is a matter of desire, right? The word for will is ratzon, and then the word for desire is zinor. They have the same letters. So the desire is a channel for the will, And they say that everything is a matter of will and desire. That's why Keter is first, because it's the will. And the desire of the creator is inside of its will. So it creates its own emergent property. This is why it's transcendental and also emanational, right? That's why the second world is called Atzilut, because it's about emanation. So all of creation is a creature. The question is, if there is a need of a mediator or an intercessor of some sorts, then if there was only one person in the beginning, then how did they acquire knowledge of self if they had no mediator?
Okay, one thing is for sure. Everybody chill for 1 second. I just figured out something. Adept, you may know this already, but I just figured out something. You know, when I speak to knowledge here or wherever I am in this particular plane of existence, it resonates with me, and especially certain signatures of knowledge. I know who I'm speaking to now, nameless one. Stop playing with me. I know that this is somebody named in this world Jordan, and on TikTok known as Universal Theory, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me I'm wrong, nameless.
Well, you got
Applause.
me. You got me. Okay, you got me.
Okay, because I'm not. Don't do that to me. Look. Wait. I recognize spiritual signatures, bruh. Don't play with me like that. I'm like, wait. I'm like, what? What?
Can I
Wait,
ask you?
I know somebody that speaks like this.
Hey, bro, can I ask you a question?
Get it?
I want everybody to go to their For You page. Pay attention to what comes on your For You page. Call the people that you actually know that you know in your life, that you actually know what they've been through. And then as soon as you get done hanging up the phone from you calling them, go back to your For You page. And that'll tell you a lot about ultra mind control or just giving you insight of how intelligent AI really is.
Okay. Adept, you were about to say?
No, it was just a little comment when you said about the first creature. I was just gonna make a quick little comment on like, well, Christians would say like Adam and Eve because they ate the apple and became conscious according to the narrative.
All right, I want to say something
That's all I
to
was gonna say.
Reese.
Go ahead, Rich.
So, okay, I understand what you're saying about going to basically, you can say, like, basically, the phone can read your thoughts. But you know what else can read your thoughts? The universe.
Come on, Rich.
So you
What
talk
you mean?
about
What you
AI.
mean? What do you mean the universe can read my thoughts? You one of these weirdos, man. You one of these new age. Like you one of these. You're a weird black dude. What are you talking about, man?
I appreciate it.
It really can because your body is the electromagnetic pulse. So when you start vibrating at a higher frequency, what you think can actually manifest inside of reality. This is reality.
Come
So
on,
that means
Reese. You
everything is
spitting too
reality.
much, Reese.
So
Well,
whatever you
All
think
right.
is reality.
let me.
At
Can
least,
I?
at least for you. Go ahead, Chitty. And then I want to
Yeah.
let the ladies in here because, yeah, we need that energy. Go ahead, Chitty.
Yeah. I'm not going to be very long. The dose of
No, get it.
reality is that we talk this talk, Kabbalistic, etymology, theology, but in the world of TikTok, what happens is we go to the next panel where people are flirting with one another, talking about bullshit, doing nothing, going to the lower self. And then we jump back in spiritual rooms and we have all the answers when we have not practiced these concepts. We have not internalized these concepts. You know, if you ask 1,001 people who is God, you're going to get 1,002 answers because everybody has their own belief of what they think or who they think or what they think the righteous or God is. But let me say this: spirituality is internalized. You have to live this thing. You have to breathe it.
Can I
And
say
if
True
you
indeed. Yes,
yes,
way. We've been
that?
waiting for you. Go ahead.
I was just gonna chime in real quick to what Chitty said about how if you ask 1,000 people who God is, you're gonna get 1,002 answers. It's funny because all 1,002 answers all equals one thing. They're gonna say, "Oh,
Oh,
God is everything. God is the creator of this, right?" And it's like, well, there's 102 different paths to how they get there, and that's the conflict, and that's where they get stuck at. But they forget that they all just believe the same thing. They all just have different paths to get into it. And I feel like that right there is a lot of conflict that divides a lot of people. It's like, oh, and then some of them too, they refuse to like, I guess, understand. So that would be, I guess, a flaw. That's what I would say would be like a flaw. But I just wanted to just say that and chime into what you said.
no, that's solid because okay, I live in Los Angeles, right? Lay, where do you live?
Well, I was born in Africa, but I currently live in the States.
Okay, so well, I mean, just give me the state that you live in. I'm not trying to.
Oh,
I'm not
Arizona.
trying to be
Arizona.
Arizona. Okay. I want you to meet me in Vegas tomorrow at 4:37 p.m. Right? So I'm going to come from a particular direction to get to the destination, and so are you. Yeah.
Yes.
You're not going to come from the same direction per se that I'm coming from, and dare I say, you would definitely not use the same route to get to Vegas at 4:37 p.m. tomorrow that I will. But we will both get there at 4:37 p.m. Yeah.
That's an impossibility, sir. Logically,
How
What's impossible?
but
is that
if two
impossible?
people take two different ways, they're not going to arrive at the destination at the same time. This is the point that I'm trying to make.
That's interesting. Really?
This
I think the
no, they're
timing
not.
miss. If we get to focus on the timing, that misses the point of the whole what he's trying to
Well,
get
the
at, the whole
point is
message.
meet me at 4:30. So the point is so we can meet together, but we're taking different routes, and it's not gonna synchronize.
Yeah, but
Why would it
the
But it
main
not?
is
objective
synchronized,
is the
of course, of
destination.
course.
That's the main objective either way. Just like not everybody gets to God at the same time, but we get to the destination. It's just a different path,
Yeah, but
which
I
is the
don't
Mm.
want you
ultimate
three
message.
Oh,
hours
you're
late.
speaking of. Oh, okay. I
Okay,
thought you were
but
talking like
the
literal.
time. If we
Let,
get
let,
caught
let
up
me
on the
finish my
time, we miss
point,
the whole.
if I may. Let me
Mhm.
finish my point, if I may.
Go ahead, Jetty.
Yeah, we're not going to get there at the same time, but I don't want you 3 hours late where I have to wait on you because you didn't take the correct route. If you ask 1,000 people who is God and you get 1,001 answers, all of them can't be correct because the Bible says narrow is the way, meaning that truth is specific and it's simple. It's not complex. It's not full of complex concepts and ideas from various locations and various people. The
Shitty,
truth
let me
is
dance with you.
simple.
Yup, and I agree with you right on that note. The
I had
truth
to
is
crash
simple.
my
Let me
plane
dance with you.
because. Go ahead.
No, don't crash it. Just glide because you can come
Okay,
back
all
in.
right.
This is a
Go ahead.
conversation. This is, and we can go back and forth. But here's the thing: you just, the words you said kind of escapes me right now, but I still know my point. Um, the point is that knowledge will get us to the same space at the same time. Not a belief system, but a gnosis. Okay, so let's take modern technology out of it. Let's forget the watches that we have and/or the smartphones with the time on it that can switch time zones or get us to a space at the same time. Me and Lay, right? Let's just look at the sun. Let's say if me and Lay have an understanding of where the sun is in the sky, and we both leave our respective locations, to get to Vegas at the same time that the sun is in the sky. That's a knowledge. There's a knowledge that takes place outside of anything else. Like, so when you say that we could not get there at the same time, I'm quite dumbfounded on that notion because literally in the day and age we are living in, we know that we can get to a specific place at the same time. People do it every day. That's what meetings are called. I mean, if that was the case, no one would be able to have a meeting. The meeting's at 12 o'clock and folks are showing up at 2:30 and 11 a.m. Like that, I don't quite receive like how you think that we could not meet at the same time. But again, it's like Adept said, really the overarching theme is not necessarily that we even get there at the same time, but we're headed to the same space, right? Which would be a realization of, this thing folks call God. Go ahead. I'm listening, bro.
The reason why it's an impossibility, host, is because you have car crashes, you have speed lights, you have speed limits, you have obstacles that I may endure that you may not. That would delay your time. It's an impossibility. It's not. This is not. If two people leave from the same place and take a different route, there's no possible way. Usually, mathematically, they're going to arrive at the same place at the same time because of those obstacles. Now, making a metaphor of the obstacles, talking about 1,000 ways to describe God is because we have obstacles in our lives. We have misconceptions. We have our own beliefs of what we were taught, and we've collected those ideas to try to convey to someone who God is. You understand?
Okay. I do. Listen, I do understand what you're saying. The problem is, conceptually speaking, bro, the world would shut down not tomorrow, right now, if folk couldn't schedule a time to meet and it actually work out. So, although of course, what you're saying about variables and obstacles that may hinder the time, typically, unless you're quote unquote black folk, you can arrive on time. The black people know what I'm talking about.
I'm dead.
Somebody know what I'm
But I
talking
wanted to
about.
add to
Somebody know what I'm talking about. Go ahead,
this
Deb.
is the difference. This is the difference between religious belief systems when it comes to, again, belief, and the difference between the initiatic sciences, the initiation. Because all who have been initiated into the mysteries of existence, into the divine, all who had attained that degree of gnosis, of knowing, not belief, are unanimous in understanding what divinity is. And there is no separation or was conflict, so to speak. Yes, it may be different terms based off of the system, whether, like, let's say a Sufi tradition, the Gnostic or Hermetic tradition, you may call it something, but they agree on the same realities. It's just a different term. Now, belief systems is where mere speculation and hypothesis, comes into play, and that's where all the conflicts come to play, and no one can agree on anything because they don't know. It's just belief. That is the separation between religious dogma, or just religion as we understand it, a religious belief system, and a Gnostic, to use that term loosely in a more general sense.
That's exactly
So you
correct.
just made me.
That's why they have the same language fundamentally. Like you can
Exactly.
take a concept, and as far as the ancient initiatic systems go, they're universally applicable. This is why I get into so many debates with people, and I'm like, you're not capable of having this conversation, not because you lack the capacity. That could be true, but because you don't know the language first you have to know the language. Then, even if I give you the language, you still couldn't articulate it to me, because you next have to embody it. So if you don't have the language and you haven't embodied it, we can't have the conversation. Now, we could converse about it, but you could never converse on that person's level, because the question I asked Sarah, how would you know that a person had knowledge of self, right? How could you tell? The only way that you could tell is either you were near equivalent to their level, or above their level. But if you're too far away from their level, it's like saying, well, what does the CEO do of this company? And you're the janitor, right? You might not know shit about what they do at that level, right? You're like, look, I wash toilets around here. But people in the esoteric or people in the religious community, they feel that they have the right to argue with you about something that they have very little to no knowledge of. But they would not let a random person perform brain surgery on them, right? It's the same thing. Like, you wouldn't let a random person who had no college degree, who did not have neurosurgeon as their title, perform neurosurgery on you. But as far as spirituality goes, which is even more profound than neurosurgery, because it's soul surgery, it's soul alchemy, you would
Bars.
claim to be someone who has the status, equivalent to a neurosurgeon, right? Except for this is an individual who's a soul surgeon. You would claim to have the title of someone who is extremely elite and well informed and well practiced in this system. You would just assume their position, jump into the conversation, and then pretend that you are capable of facilitating the language. And that's just as bad as you just picking a
That's
random guy, giving a scalpel and say cut my head open.
go ahead, Hope.
A phrase has been coined. It is soul surgeon, and that's my dude
I love that. I
theory
love that.
and the place to be.
And if I
Chitty,
may, oh,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
sir.
Zeb.
just really quick to add to that, like another one, the reason why people don't like that too, especially those who have not been initiated into that doctrine that we're saying, into that knowing, is because again, people don't like their intelligence. They don't like to feel like their intelligence is insulted, or they don't like to not be in the know. Everyone wants to be in the know, but if you haven't done the work and gone through the process to be in the know, sorry about your feelings and what you may think, but it is what it is. It's like, again, um, it's like trying to become, let's say, to use a military world. You want to become a SEAL, Green Beret. You want to be Delta Force. You want to be the creme de la creme. You want to be in the know at this echelon of being, But like, if you haven't gone through the selection process and the training to put in the work to master the skills and attain this level, then like you can't speak on it. You just can't. Despite your belief or speculations and this and that, if you're not that, you're not that, and you haven't attained it. And people hate that. It's the ego. The ego despises that.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly correct. I use this analogy, Adept. I say
okay,
if you want, well, there's multiple ways you could phrase this. I say if you want what I have, right? Or you want what the initiates have or what they had attained, because the verbiage is name what you attain, not attain, not it's so you can't name it until you attain it. Once you've attained it, then you can name it. This is why they get names. This is why they change their names. The guru gives them a new name, or there's a name for every flag that they've planted on the mountain. Samadhi has a name because somebody attained it. Nirvana has a name because somebody attained it. Moksha has a name, somebody attained it, right? So if you want this, right? Christos, you want this, you want to be like Christ, then you have to be like Christ. You can't be Christian and not be like Christ. That's a contradiction, right? You're essentially spitting in the face of your master at that point, right? So if you want what they have, has anyone seen the Rage Against the Machine album cover where the monk was sitting there and he was on fire?
Yep.
That's what you have to have. You have to have so much fervor for the path that you're willing to sacrifice all comforts for the sake of liberation. This individual
There it
was able
is.
to sit there and to maintain the integrity and the discipline and the honor of their path and their position while literally on fire, right? I tell people you got a better chance, and they think I'm playing. I'm not. You got a better chance of walking on your fingertips up Mount Everest in your birthday suit
Wow.
before you ever become initiated.
Bars. In the
oh, I
immortal
love
words
it.
of Black Sheep, the hip hop group, you can get with this or you can get with that. Sarah,
Yeah.
Sarah, my dear, good to see you today.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, so what you got, Sarah? We listening. We here.
Well, I was just listening to Jordan. Yeah, he is right. You could put
Well, first of all, that's not Jordan. That is Nameless One. What are you talking about? That's not Jordan.
okay.
Okay, yeah, that's Nameless One. Go ahead.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
What he's saying is right. It is really, really, really hard to reach that initiatic process. Most people won't do it. They don't have the capacity or the capability, and you can know that in practicality by putting 9 people up here on this panel like we have right now. Those that have reached it will know exactly those on the panel that have and have not, just by the words that they speak, just by the character that they are, just by interaction. There's no way not to. I look at it like this.
Facts.
Earlier you were having a conversation about, God in general. It's like this. I'm going to bake a cake. So I grab all the ingredients, the cake mix, the water, the oil, the eggs. I put the eggs in there. I bake the cake. What part of the cake doesn't have eggs in it? It all does. That's the equivalent to whatever
Mm.
deity, divinity source you want to go to. What part of that cake doesn't have eggs in it? All of the cake has eggs in it. Now, when we get down to how much original source energies into that, it's going to depend on how big the piece is. What's the volume? What's the capacity?
Yeah, Tierra. I want to get Tierra in here too.
Yeah.
Tierra, in your estimation, would I be able to attain knowledge of self through like a religion, through like an Abrahamic religion, or through something that you created? Do I get to my knowledge of self through your construct?
No.
What you mean?
You'd probably get it more in your sleep.
Oh,
Hey, so
oh, man.
I'd like to build on what Adept and Nameless was saying, if you don't mind.
Get it, my war.
Okay, so these cats are on it always, right? And so then they make me think. I love you guys. You make me think about stuff. And so, anyways, and then what Chitty Bang said, right? Are we practicing what we preach? And so then, 30 months ago, I was contracted to deprogram a flat earther. I took a professor of psychology with me. I taught the professor of psychology satanic deprogramming. Then at the college we started teaching future psychologists advanced psychology, how to deprogram, and all this stuff. And then the students were, well, you got to learn how to identify severe mind control if you're going to be a mind warrior, right? We're all in a mind war. So then when it comes to like what Adept, and then we're saying like being in the knowing, well, if you're really going to know yourself, then you need to know you're in a mind war, right? What are these people trying to do to you? What is the ingredients list to the perfect human condition to be most susceptible to mind control? That's what being in the knowing is. If you're not studying the condition that they're trying to get you into, then you haven't even begun to enter this mind war. We should all be talking about the human condition they're trying to get us into, and the human condition we need to be getting back to, because it's like this: what is happening to us is progressive. We don't have all the time in the world. Their goal is to shorten our numbers and brainwash us. And if you're not studying the human condition, you're going to end up a mindless drone punching a clock. You're going to think Earth's flat tomorrow and that you're about to blip off to the fifth dimension, right? And we're studying the people in the advanced stages. They're starting to do things backwards. They can't remember anything anymore. This is turning us into drones, right? And so then in my village in Korea, we still don't have internet, right? In 2020, when I speak to a lot of people here on these apps, they'll tell me they had this big awakening. It became awakened in 2020. And then I spoke to some of these people 2 years ago, and they're telling me this, and then they say, oh, yeah, I started astral projecting within a week or two. And then now I speak to them last week. They're like, I've been astral projecting for 20 years. Right. So what's happening to people is they're changing their own history in their own minds. I've spoken to flat earthers and that are now starting to say their parents and their grandparents told them that they were taught the earth was flat in school. Right. So we are drifting deeper and deeper into fantasy, and the exact traits of severe mind control is the victim will hold strong to ideas that are implausible and they're completely resistant to evidence, knowledge, experience, common sense, logic, and realities that go against their controlled narrative. So now what we're witnessing all around us, even on this panel, people ignoring the reality that we are in.
My word, don't do that. Don't do that. Jeez, it was so nice, and then you just had to slap somebody. I don't know.
That's reality.
Yeah.
You're gonna talk to people right now, and they're gonna go, "I'm too strong-minded to be brainwashed. I can't be brainwashed." And you go, "Okay, what's the ingredients
Mm.
list to brainwash you?" They'll go, "I don't know." They go, "Okay, have you ever had any type of psychological warfare training?" They'll say, "No." And you go, "Okay, then how could you possibly make a statement that you cannot
Let me
be
see if it works. Let me see if it works, my
He's
word. Hold on one
absolutely
second.
correct. He's absolutely correct. There's a guy on here, a nameless one knows him, goes by the name Placid. I think he's been up on your panel before. Um, we actually conducted a couple experiments with this. I played a role in some of those experiments and convinced everybody on the panel to do something that they said that they would never do. And I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose because when you have the right tools, when you have the right mindset as a person doing the brainwashing, you can convince anybody to do anything because you know where they're weak. You know what it is that they don't want to give up, and you connect with them on that level. You use emotion and you use feelings and you use the things that are here, tangible in the world that they are connected to. You can convince anybody to do anything in the right circumstances.
Yeah, in
Let
the
me,
advanced
Sarah. Oh, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me try to put this to the test really quick. Hey, Lay, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Lay. So, if you meet me tomorrow in Vegas at 3:47, I'll have a Lamborghini and a Birkin bag in the front seat for you. Will you be there?
I won't be there.
You won't.
No.
What you mean?
I
It's for
don't need a
it's.
Birkin or a Lamborghini.
Oh, Tierra, are you interested in a Birkin bag and a Lambo?
Hey, I'm a Jeep girly.
Oh, okay. All right. I tried. My word, I tried. But Lay, I did want to ask you a real question. So, are you able to teach me knowledge of self, Lay? Like, can you teach me knowledge of self?
Well, I can maybe like ask you questions that get you thinking and question, and then you can start to, look deeper within yourself. But I can't sit here and be like, oh, you are this and you were supposed to do this, or you're this. I can make you question the very same belief that you think your actions and thoughts are based on, right? But I can mirror to you, but I can never come and be like, oh, you are this, or tell you, oh, you are this, or oh, you are that. That's just
Mm. Sarah, can it be taught? Can you teach? Not like can you? Maybe not even taught is the word, but can you bestow knowledge of self upon me?
I can plant a seed, I can give you the tools, and I can model it, whether you take it up or
exactly
not. Now, what I can do
free will.
is manipulate you into believing certain things.
I believe Sarah. I'm sorry, host. I believe might have been in one of your experiments some years ago here on TikTok. Let me explain to you what the experiment was, and you can confirm if that was you or not.
Kyra, go ahead, Chitty.
Yeah, I came into a room and there was a prompt of the moon and a tree at nighttime. And as I talked casually with the people on the panel, they kept saying, do you see over there on that vine, there's a bird? And I was like, yeah, no, I don't see it. And they was like, okay. And a few minutes later, they did it again. And constantly asking me, don't I see something on this branch in the picture? There was nothing there. But because of the consistency of the asking and the prodding and the suggestion, most people would say, yeah, I do see something there. I don't know what it is. But that was one experiment that I did have on TikTok. But I'm gonna drop because there's so many people who want to get on the panel, and I don't want to be selfish. So I'm just gonna say this in
Chitty, I
finality.
appreciate you having a good conversation with us and coming through, man. If you haven't followed the channel, I'll follow you back so that when you see us live, you can come through again, man.
Definitely, you run a good panel. You've been fair and letting everybody speak. And I appreciate it.
Bro, it ain't me. It's the Jedi's I stand with, man. Like I'm a part of a federation. I promise you, it's not
There you
me.
go. You
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
blue wand instead of the red wand. You're doing good.
Hey, hey.
But I do
All
want to
right, man.
say in
Yeah, go ahead.
reference to a nameless, I personally have been initiated in a mystery organization. You
Oh,
would never know the people who are initiated into this organization unless they told you, because it's not based on what they tell you or what are how they articulate what they believe. It's not about linguistics sometimes, it's about manifestation. You're going to see the fruits of in the community of what we do as an organization, and it's all about manifestation. It's not necessarily about articulation and being able, because a wise man hardly ever speaks. He has less words than all of the people because he chooses his words wisely. So don't base on what how well educated or how they use linguistics to express themselves. That's not a metric. It's the manifestation of the knowledge they have, in my opinion.
Okay. Solid, man. Hey, again, thanks for coming through, Chitty. Richard, what's good, man?
I was just remembering like a psychological test they was doing on people with something like the human condition, where they had someone draw 3 lines, and 2 of the lines were the same size, and they had a line, and the last person was the test subject. Y'all seen that? But it was
Hmm.
like a line. Everybody was in the wrong line, but more than probably 50% of the people that seen the line on the wrong, that was in the wrong line. Like everybody was in the wrong line to the wrong line. You know what I'm saying? It was like a line on a paper, but it was also a line of people. That's what I'm saying. So most of the people was in the wrong line, and most of the people at the end agreed with the people that was in the long line because of the human condition, trying to be a part, try to be a part of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
community.
Oh no, it's a thing. No, no. The herd mentality, I think you're basically describing, is a
Yeah.
complete thing in humanity. Yeah. Sierra, I'm sorry, Tiara, you had something.
Yeah. So like when I forgot the question verbatim, but like we were talking about, would it be easier for you to find yourself like within a construct outside of yourself, like religion or like even
Right.
something?
Can I find knowledge of self through a religion or through through your lens of life? Can you teach me? Go on, I'm listening.
Right. Cause yeah, I was saying like it would be probably better for you and more successful if you find that in your sleep. Because when you sleep, you're now dealing with the subconscious. I guess the easiest way to say it or explain it would to be like, okay, say you're looking in a mirror. When you look in the mirror, you're looking at yourself, but it's yourself backwards. That's
Mm.
essentially your subconscious. So once you start building a relationship with that said self, that's when you start becoming more aware and having more knowledge of self. So we technically have two selves. It's our awake self and then our shadow self. And then you being
Mm.
asleep, you're building that bond by interacting, especially interacting in your sleep.
And what she's getting at
Okay.
is
No, I can.
basically known as dream yoga.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I agree. When you say when you do it mostly in your sleep, it's very interesting because I suppose I can do it while awake too. Like I don't have to go to sleep to be able to like chant or like
Right.
align with her. You know, it's just. But I feel like that's just a part of you. It's not technically like this and this. That's you. That's you aligning with source. Does that make sense? Everybody
Yeah.
like has that in a way.
Because, like, the more you build that relationship, the more you'll be able to interact with yourself while you're awake.
And the
It's
thing
like,
is,
yeah,
a lot of people. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
you're good.
A lot of people, they will lose that sense of themselves through teachings or through religion, or because they're taught to not connect with that. They're just disconnecting, and they'll, instead of following that, they'll follow the book.
Right. Because it's like most people will label it as demonic or like dark. Oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Like,
Yeah.
and they'll say like, "Oh, you need to grow up," and it'll be labeled as childish sometimes. And it's like, no, That's the connection you're gonna have, the closest connection you'll have to yourself, like your entire life.
And I noticed that the more you heal, the more you connect with that voice too.
Right.
Well, you get past like fears and insecurities and all those things that are actually instilled in you through the school and social systems. But that's like a
Yo, can I say something right quick?
yeah. Go
The
ahead.
more, the more and more I started to connect with myself, trust me, I know what Shadow Side is all about. You know what I'm saying? It's basically exploring the things that you are not consciously aware of that makes you you, right? But even like through like traumas and stuff like that, if you're trying to fix it, they'll tell you to do shadow work, figure out where it's stemming from, right? But what I figured out is the more and more I got to really know myself and started bettering myself, the more and more I started to not fit in with society. I just felt like a big um, to fit in.
You're breaking up right now,
And start
Reese.
hearing these
You
phrases.
broke up just a little bit.
Yeah, these right here. Hold on, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
It's kind of
Can
breaking
you
up
hear
just
me?
a little bit, though. We can hear you, but it's kind of going in and out a
See,
little
this
bit.
is why I'm saying that this. Yeah, but this is why I was saying that this is what part of the reasons why I think that I am targetly attacked, because that's not a coincidence. This is happening. But I'm gonna just go ahead and let y'all speak, and
Mm.
then I'll speak.
No, but we want to hear you though. So, like, I don't know if you can get like to just a slightly different area. Rich, were you about to say something? And I think Sarah had something too.
Oh, I want to play games with Sarah.
Wow, this is not that type of live, Rich. Come on, man. What are you doing? What?
Deep
What?
run deep.
Go
They
ahead,
wouldn't
go
even
ahead.
know I was playing.
She's a married woman, Rich. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's
I
wild.
did. I wanted to say something too. We were talking about the dream self, the subconscious, and the conscious self. Um,
Yeah.
People like to think of them as two different selves. It's not. It's the same. And the initiatic process is the integration of both of them into one. It's that separation that we're seeking to meld, to bring together. So the subconscious becomes the conscious in totality. It's a recognition and understanding of who you are at your core. And your core is the subconscious mind, or what some people refer to as the higher self. People refer to as the higher self.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a question for um, Nameless, but he got out of here right before I could ask him. But I want to kind of go around the panel and ask this particular question and
Answer
see
for
what you guys
him.
think.
We can answer for him.
Would,
Most of us hang out with him.
indeed, of course, of course. I'll start with Lay. Lay, okay, I didn't lost my train of thought. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Lay, how do you define knowledge of self?
Defining knowledge of self to me, it's knowing who you are at the core outside of these like fears, outside of these traumas, outside of these like all the fears and all the insecurities and all that, getting past that and truly getting to know yourself, like connecting within. Because at the end of the day, you can operate from the fear and you can operate from the ego and all that, but at the end of the day, when you lay down, you're not going to feel good within yourself, and you create battles within yourself and whatnot, and then it starts to show within your bodies, and it's getting stored, and then that starts to slowly eat you alive, and you become more susceptible, I believe, to the mind control and all that. So I feel like it's not turning to that path, but rather not listening to all that, but connecting within yourself. Society can tell you, oh, you have to like apples, but deep down, if you don't like apples, then you don't like apples. You don't have to force yourself to eat an apple because society says so.
Okay. Let me let Mind upload in because he's been there for a second. But I want to Mind load if you can tell me how you define knowledge of self.
Yeah, greetings to the gods and goddesses and the
Greetings,
panel.
man.
Yeah, not I will define knowledge of self. when you detach from all the illusion and the matrix, and you start question everything and deconstruct and unlearn everything, and you start activate the first eye, which is the consciousness from within. See, they say,
Mm.
and that's how I will define it, because that's why they have to do like in 10, 15 years, detach from everything, because everything why inside this world is an illusion, a construct, false reality, and all the truth is within you, and you just gotta activate the first sight, which is consciousness.
I'm digging it. No, I'm digging it. Rich, how do you define knowledge of self? How do you define it?
Uh, well, I would say I wrote this down. Consciousness looking at potential from a unique perspective.
Hey man, is it cheating to write it down? Because that's solid. But is that cheating to write it down first and then be like prepared? Like, okay, cool. No, yeah, I'm with you, Rich. Yeah, solid work. Reese,
say,
man, boy,
I would say,
you're a superhero, Reese.
no, I'm definitely not, man. But I would say, to me, knowledge of
But
self
you
is.
are. But go on.
Thank you, I appreciate it. To me, knowledge of self is acquiring, obtaining information, skills through experience, through exposure of experience that you have inside of your life as an individual.
Come on, man. What, Sarah Lynn? How do you describe knowledge of self?
That's a jaded question. It's very big, right? First, we have to define what knowledge is. Knowledge is a collection of facts. How do we base facts? We base facts off of what is testable in the reality in which we live. So where do we go from there? First, after that, there has to be a recognition that there is something that you don't know, a programming that you are so set on believing that is true that isn't. Okay, so how do we do that? We write down our morals, our ethics, what's our value system, and then we test them. What's one of the first things we are taught as a child? Don't hit. Why don't we hit? Is it always bad to hit? Well, no, it isn't, because if somebody's going to hit me, I'm not going to just sit there until I'm no longer here on this earth. No, you got to sometimes go outside of that ethical framework. So is that really an ethic that you hold? You have to break every point down. You have to take it and you have to test it with every situation that could possibly arise that you can think of. And then you learn what your core values are. Once you know and identify what your core values are, you pay attention to behavior. Do I ever act inconsistently in this framework? If so, why? Then I need to amend my core ethics and values.
I'm digging it. Everybody's solid. Got their own square standing solidly on. Bray, what's happening, Bray?
Hey, what's up? What's
Hey, what's
up?
happening, man? Listen, how do you define knowledge of self, Bray?
Man, I will tell you what, I've been on a big journey lately. And I can speak, I can definitely speak to my experiences with this. The way that I would, talk about this is probably that knowledge of self is ultimately, um, I think it's, yeah, what was said with like the collection of facts, relate as it relates specifically to your journey of alignment of your mind, body, and
Mm,
spirit. Okay, so
mm,
those are going to be kind of the three core aspects, right? So mind is going to be um, discipline over like your thoughts, your ideas that you have.
hmm,
Body is going to be not just like not just your body and like taking care of your health and everything, but also you taking your thoughts that come into your head or your ideas and actually putting them into action in this 3D matrix, right?
mm.
And spirit is your identity, and you have a responsibility to do everything that you can to find your identity through your healing. because everybody's got their trauma or their thing, right? And I'll tell you what, I have been on a crazy journey as far as it relates to that. And my bottleneck has actually been with my body, right? And specifically in taking action. So,
Yeah. Hey, good stuff, bro. And may you have a continued journey of enlightenment, right? Let me go to
absolutely.
Geo. Geo just came in. Geo, I just want to ask this question. I'm going around the room. How do you define knowledge of self, Geo?
I would say it's having a coherent self reflection.
Hmm. Self-reflection. I'm digging it. Tiara,
Yeah.
knowledge of self, ma'am. How do you define it?
Um, I would say it's the knowledge of self is having full awareness that your immediate experience or the things that go on outside of you are caused by you
Ooh.
and the way you view it, the way you view yourself.
Awareness was used. It was used. Okay. Lay, what say you about defining knowledge of self, Lay? You there, Lay? Clearly, you're not the type of woman that wants a Lambo in Vegas tomorrow, so that's not a part of your knowledge of self. Talk to us. Well, how do you define knowledge of self?
Oh, okay. I thought I had already answered, but I answered again. I would say,
Oh,
how
my
you.
bad. Did I do that? Did I
Yeah,
start with you?
yeah, you did.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Listen, I'm old. I'm sorry. My apologies. Well, then let me lastly then go to adept. Adept usually rounds out with a great word. Adept, how would you define knowledge of self?
uh, so, well, first off, we got to understand what ultimately is self, which is a rabbit hole in
Uh oh.
itself.
Right.
but but to understand self is on the end of so as above, so below. To know self is you got to know the macrocosm, the microcosm, the totality of existence. Because ultimately, to know oneself is to know yourself at the deepest, most fundamental level of your core, of your essence, of your very being, and to transcend the lower individual self of this human being that we identify with so much. But from a microcosmic, as in the individual that we are, obviously understanding your full nature as a human being, from the physical to the emotional to the psychic or mental, both your unconscious or subconscious levels of mind, and then spirit and soul. Well, psyche is soul, so but and being able to understand the ins and outs, the mechanics of every dimensional layer of your very being. But then once you do that, you understand that once you reach the how do I say it? The most fundamental level of your being, you realize there is all is self. There is
Mm.
nothing that you are not at the most deepest
Mm.
fundamental level. You are the great I am. And the great I am is the totality of existence. And so it's the continuum. That's why. So now that also encompasses understanding the universe at large, all of creation, the macrocosm. So to understand that is to study natural law, the mechanics of creation. If you want to be a true master at the highest, most profoundest levels, is to know the totality of existence. And instead of like how Masons had 33 degrees of knowledge, to use
Uh
that
oh.
as an analogy, you got to have 360 degrees of knowledge. Then you will
Oh.
be a true God. You'll be
Bars.
truly all knowing. And then you will truly know self.
And there it is.